Of the Loretta, the director, she took all. So I have to buy new house for people. Yeah.
Oh, yes. I mean, you are a man of the people.
Yes.
And so when you get money, you must share.
She started calling me like 4 hours before the thing, saying that, oh, how are you doing? How are we doing up front today? I'm, hey, ABC, that I just realized was for the ticket.
The interest was different.
So get a ticket
Anyway.
from any First National Bank.
Yes,
Get a
it's a nice
ticket.
hot cake. Oh.
Yes, for Adum Praise. Let's get into our Drive Safe campaign. Brought to us by Joy News and Multimedia Group. Is supported by Toyota Ghana Company Limited. Toyota, superior quality and Imperial General Assurance, solid protection. So there's only so much you can know. It's important to understand the limits of your skills as a driver and knowing not to push them. All right, that's how to ensure you're safe forever.
Let's now learn how to say it right. Brought to us by Kingdom Books. At Kingdom, quality and affordability are their hallmarks.
Something must be done.
You say either, I say.
Do you say resources or resources? This is definitely another of the English language's great debates. So let's settle it today. The correct pronunciation of this English word is resources. The Americans say resources, but as we know, English is the language of England. So if you want to speak American, you can say resources. But if you want to say it right, it's resources.
Well, so now you know how to say it right.
As and when.
Anyway, let's get into our news review.
Is brought to us by Enterprise Life's Family Income Security Plan. Enterprise, your advantage. Access Bank, modern banking, and Compu Ghana, passion for technology.
And before we get into the papers, yesterday on PM Express, there was a conversation about fuel. I mean, the rising cost of fuel and what could be done to, get the price reduced. Let's listen to excerpts of it.
Ghana could, if we had wonderful relationships with Russia, wonderful relationships with other countries, they may give you a grant, but it will be a very small grant, so maybe one cargo or two cargos, like we had from Libya in the 80s. From a sustainable period, that's not going to happen. I've been in nearly 40 years in this business. Everybody buys from the international markets. There are a number of traders who control the market. So let us get that out of our minds. And I don't know who is advising the president. It was wrong for him to come and say he's going to get affordable to make people in this country believe that it can happen. It's not going to happen. You're not going to have any cheap products coming into the country. If you do, you may have it for one or two cargoes, but you can't have it on a sustainable basis. Secondly, the biggest problem this country is going to face in the next few months is the credit crunch. And the government needs to face this problem, having Bank of Ghana, the BDCs, and the NPA work at this very, very well to make sure that we don't get blacklisted. The BDCs don't get blacklisted. I even heard that BOSS is trying to import products. Everybody needs letters of credit. Everybody is chasing the same foreign exchange. Bank of Ghana and the government of Ghana need to address the foreign exchange problem that is required by these BDCs.
We all know what has happened with the depreciation, how high it's been, how fast it's depreciated. That is where the problem lies. We don't have enough FX to be able to pay our supply. Beginning of the year, BOG came in, fantastic job of providing guaranteed FX to the industry. But the problem here again is that they are not able to supply everything that we need. So
how much do you need and how much are you getting?
So on average, we need about 400 million USD to be able to bring monthly, which BOG is able to do about $120 million.
How are you filling that gap?
So you need to go to your commercial bank. Any other source you can get legally. So you go to commercial banks, other people who trade in FX, maybe you have deals with them to be able to get FX, to be able to pay your suppliers. But the problem here is BOG gives us a good rate, right? It's way lower than what the market or what the commercial bank would give us. But it's only still meeting only 30% of what we actually need. So that concessionary rate that BOG gives is not able to translate into pricing. Because if I'm supposed to get 100, I get 30, and my 70, so assuming BOG gives me a rate of currently, let's say 12, and I have to go to the market and get it at 15 or 16. When I put those two together, I'll still be hovering around 15, let's say. It really won't make a dent in what I need to be able to price lower for us to consume.
So the Bank of Ghana must use every opportunity to look for forex in order to reduce that burden. That will lessen the speculation, that will lessen the risk going forward. That is one. Two is that we've made it clear that contrary to what we're expecting from our petroleum revenues, and bear in mind, we normally get petroleum revenues from our carried interest, that is our share, royalties, from our taxes, and from surface rental. All this put together, the minister projected 6.6 billion. In just 3 months, we've gotten over 8 billion. That is an unprecedented windfall. I've never witnessed that in my life in this sector. So that's a huge windfall. Already we are paying full cost of the petroleum products. Government is not subsidizing even 1 cedi. In fact, we are even paying more. So the BDCs are front-loading their risk. So we hold the view that having gotten this huge windfall, something can be done. But even more important, the price stabilization and recovery link is meant for 3 items. We projected 260 million for the first 2 quarters. We got about 800 million. That's a huge amount. That's about 600 million difference. So what I was expecting NPA to tell us is that of that 800 million, we applied X amount to subsidize petroleum products. They should be telling us today, but they keep the records. All we are hearing is the money is not available. The money is not available.
There hasn't been any eminence of a shortage in the future. What I have is that we have enough in stock to be able to take us before the next line of Lakan is actually allowed to deliver fuel. I'm not seized with any briefing to the effect of the discussion of bringing in affordable products. And if it is about what the MPA is doing to bring a certain effect on price at the pump, minded by our regulation, our act, and what is it that we can do, you would agree with me that we do not have a direct relationship to the variables that basically determined the prices. The critical elements that are driven fuel as we speak has to do with the cost of the product on the international market and the cost of the cedi to the dollar, which do not lie within the MPA to be able to determine.
Well, so that's what transpired last night on PM Express.
80% of the problem, we don't have the forex. The other problem is that there's also an international problem with the cost of crude, which surely we are not going to change. You know, one of the things that drivers do, they get very angry when they reach the pump nowadays. The guy will tell that yesterday it was this, today why are they changing it? He's thinking about on the ground how he's going to make extra money. So if you don't take care, you are sitting in a taxi, he may renegotiate this when he just gone to the pump and gone to engage. There's something that sector person said, this thing about look for cheaper fuel. When he was deputy minister, they went far to Libya, and Libya agreed fully that we will give you what they call it, cheaper fuel for a long time, and it gave them some relief. So we could try, and if it works out. But what we should earnestly be asking ourselves is, what happened to the forex we had, and why don't we have enough forex to deal with this? But that's a bigger conversation of why the city is where it is today too. So anyway, but what has the Bank of Ghana been using the forex for? Reserves, what happened to it over the period? What did we do with it? All those questions come to the table that we do not have enough. Until we get enough, we'll still be in a lot of trouble. We don't control any of the current conversations. It's almost like we are the receiving end of everything. And we don't know what we want to do, frankly, because the measures that were announced, they were almost close to, by the grace of God, kind of measures, you know. If we go and something works out, we maybe we will do this, maybe this one will work out. They are not concrete, determined, certain ones that will give me assurance that the price will drive down tomorrow.
I just hope that we're not spending some of what we already don't have, sending public officials to Abu Dhabi, paying hotel bills and per diem and all.
Oh, we took a delegation.
Yes,
yeah.
Just to get something that in the long run would be more expensive than what we're experiencing today.
Yeah, the
fundamentals are there. I remember we took a delegation to was it Dubai to go and chase what's his name? This issue. This gentleman, Namwan, thank you.
The money.
We took a whole delegation to Dubai, and then what has happened to the case?
So in 2021, when we're presenting the 2022 budget, benchmark for crude oil was about $60. At the beginning of the year, by March, the price on the world market was 117. In fact, it went very high at a point. And so during the mid-year budget review, the minister reviewed the benchmark to over $90. Now, already, we had indicated a 30% reduction in discretionary expenditure. 30% reduction.
The almost non-existent discretionary expenditure.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, you have about 25 billion. So if you're, 30% of that, you're looking at almost some 8 billion cut in expenditure. But we still realized that in fact, earlier we had a total expenditure of 137 billion reduced to 135 billion when the minister presented the the mid-year budget review. You ask yourself the question, so the cut in expenditure, where is it going? The increases that we got, why are we not using that? The windfall that we made, why are we using that to cushion the consumer? Because look, the reality is that we are where we are today. The complaints we are today is because of a rising cost of petroleum products, fuel. So why don't we start by cushioning Ghanaians? You say you won't reduce taxes because you get some 4.2 billion Ghana cedis from taxes. At the point we're making the argument, just accept to have a 1 billion reduction in taxes, so cuts down the taxes by some 25%. It would have given Ghanaians a lot of relief. Today, the reality is that at the ports, our import duties are going up because the dollar is appreciated and the cedi has depreciated. So if you look at all of these things, and I'm saying, look, we're looking at all of these things, and the ordinary man, governments actually are there for the welfare, for the general welfare of the citizenry. Unfortunately, the citizens are saying, we're suffering, we're suffering, we're suffering. And yet what we are telling them is that, because of your suffering, we have decided to cut down on our fuel coupons that we give to ourselves. We're no longer taking the margins that we took earlier. We've cut it down. We're not saying, come and tell us that if you're taking 1,000, now you're taking 700 a week. We're saying, bring it down so we can also afford to buy. Anyway, let's get into the papers.
Well, we don't have money. And they keep drumming that home in very varied ways and having different conversations about it. But I thought inbuilt in our system was to get a price stabilization and a recovery levy. Why did we deplete all of that? And why didn't we foresee that we will need to do some form of cushioning along the line? It was almost like living a life without insurance or any buffers. Why did we get into that position? Well, the Daily Guide is reporting this morning, away from fuel, bans small-scale mining, religious leaders to Nana, and we reviewed the story yesterday, and JMPC's liquidity situation is moderate, and court shut down KillNet. It's also on the front page. Now, Abesim Cannibal goes for mental checkup, and it's Richard Appiah, the gentleman who was actually Mamavi.
Hi, Ray.
How you doing?
Give us the rest of the headlines.
Okay. The gentleman who was arrested for some form of killings that happened in his home. You know, the gentleman that is supposed to be a sports presenter, the gentleman that's supposed to be a former footballer. I mean, a lot of things matched up in one individual. They say he should go for, they are not sure his actual mental state. To be clear, they need to actually take him to the hospital for a checkup on that. And Galamsey Queen, that's Aisha one. Notice the best Aisha one picture I can get, right? It is rarely the best one. Trial is beginning November 9. Attorney General will call 11 witnesses in this particular case. So those are the stories the Daily Guide is reporting this morning.
All right, the Ghanaian Times has this one. Shatawale lands in trouble over comments on social media. Now, we didn't see this coming. It was just a banter with his former manager that he now says never managed him at all, Bulldog. And then, boom, he posted on Facebook a case that has gone cold for a while now, because Fenech Ochre was an Artiste manager. He was managing Kwakese back in 2014. He was killed in his home. About a month later, Bulldog was picked up because the police had indicated that he had allegedly threatened to kill Fenwick Ottery before his death. The case went to court. The district court was handling it until I think 2018, when he was cleared of the murder charge and was asked to go. Now, Shatawale's post has brought something that has gone cold, and the police issued a statement yesterday saying that they've taken interest, they're following it, and Shatawale is cooperating with them. We'll see how this goes. Will Bulldog be picked up again? Will there be another police back and forth? Would he end up in court? Because Shatawale now says that he's ready to reveal what allegedly Bulldog had told him about the killing of Fenwick Ottery.
Apparently, not everybody is affected by the cost of living crisis. Yes, Winston.
Well, let's get to the daily graphic for this morning. And review 1992 Constitution curtail excessive powers of the president. That's according to a former commissioner of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Justice Emil Short, at an IEA forum. QNet dissolved AG to go after other firms, prosecute illegal minors, religious bodies, and GJA launches 2 million Ghana cedis support fund. And Backpage is talking about the World Cup, Group A, Netherlands and Senegal favorites to qualify.
There's a story in the Ghanaian Times on page 3. This is for the judiciary to pay attention to. So apparently in Ofako courts, this is in Kaswa, they do not have a judge in the Ofako Circuit Court because he was promoted to the High Court, and all cases have sort of stalled. They need a replacement.
Okay, now the Business Finder is reporting this morning. VACO workers have rejected 22% salary increment, demanding 55%. In these times, I would take 10. Yeah, but VACO, big company, you know.
Let's get to the online news review brought to us by Senate Bank in your best interest, Goil Good Energy.
And your oil marketing company of choice, Goil, keeps making life ever so convenient. So Goil now accepts Momo for all fuel purchases. Just remember to Momo it at Goil. You can use your bank card. That's all bank cards to buy fuel at Goil as well. So you can use your Go card, your bank card, and of course you can Momo it. Goil Good Energy, Goil, yeah, dim.
And myjournalline.com, government's quest to obtain cheap fuel is far from possible. That's the Institute for Energy Security. I was not paid $25 million to paint Accra. That's according to Akufo-Addo's daughter. CityNewsroom.com, GNPC on the brink of bankruptcy. State Enterprise Committee of Parliament warns. Let's now go for the BBC News brought to us by Fidelity Bank, Believe With Us, and Silver Star Auto, your trusted partner.
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa. We are indeed the African bank with the global reach.
Enterprise Life, it's possible to live your best life. Ladies, enjoy cover for your lifestyle with Bloom Life Insurance for today's woman. Families, let's safeguard your well-being with a family income security plan because family matters. And for you, live freely with our Funeral Finance Plan Unlimited with no restrictions, no limits as you cover your loved ones and yourself. 444 for your solution.
You for dream big. Dream big with us.
Enterprise, your advantage.
Veron 95 and Veron 95 and Diesel XP. Higher grade fuels, excellent for modern engines and all vehicles. Goil, good energy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Goil is good energy.
Compute Ghana cashback promotion is back again. This time, shop, save, win a car, TV, PS5, and many more. Visit any Compute Ghana branch nationwide now till December and enjoy up to 40% discount on your favorite products from laptops, mobile phones, TVs, and many more. Stand a chance to win a brand new car when you shop at least 1,000 Ghana cedi worth of products. Yes, it's the cashback season. Shop online at www.computeghana.com